Next, we were going to talk about the Lakeshore campus project, provide you a brief update. What's making this a timely topic is that at the last fall, the board authorized us to restart the project. We then met in January, provided a project update, and since that time, Legat has filed with the Capital Development Board a design update report, and we thought this would be a great opportunity to update you what's changed from the January presentation and see if the board had any questions regarding design issues. So let me hand this over to you. And if you want to use the remote or those. Perfect.
Well, good evening. My name is Frankiewicz. I'm with Legat Architects. I'm the project manager on this project, the Student Services and Adult Education Building for the Lakeshore campus. And as Ken said, once we got the go-ahead late last fall that we were able to move forward with the planning and design of this project, after the 2-year suspension or delay, we really needed to evaluate where things were. We look at it as an opportunity as well as a chance to kind of revisit many things. So one thing, and this is, we have an executive summary which is in the book that we submitted both to the board as well as to CDB. But basically it's a series of exercises to first and foremost to bring this back into budget. With a 2-year suspension, as we all know, costs tend to escalate and we have to account for that. So we have to revisit what that means and how we're going to bring it back on budget. The budget as we have it is just below 49 million. And so we need to, the monies aren't going to get any greater. We have to find a way to bring it back into that. So we put forth, first of all, an evaluation of the project as it stood when the project was put on hold. And we found we were about $3 million higher than we were when the project stopped due to that time of suspension. So what we did after that was to sit down with the administration and the deans to collaborate on how we would like to restructure the program, where the priorities were at this point in time. It was an opportunity to validate and confirm the project program and to ensure that we can move forward with this project in a meaningful way that is appropriate for the college. So what we're going to show you tonight is the outcome of that. The first thing, just a recap, particularly for the new board members, the project entailed work in a couple of the existing buildings and then a new building, which is kind of the star of the project. But there was planned renovation at 111 North Genesee. The building has 3 levels, and there was a little bit of renovation in each of the floors. There was some work at 33 North Genesee, and then the new building, which is shown in red, is a new 6-story classroom building on the south side of Madison Street. So what does the impact of the 2-year project delay have on the project? Well, as we stood back, it became apparent that the objective of this revisiting of the program was to keep the new building intact. So the 6-story tower building would be the priority of this project, and that the renovation work that occurs both at 111 and 33 North Genesee would take a back seat, if not planned for maybe some work down the future, but to really focus on how we can bring this in budget without hurting the new building itself. So the summary here shows that here are basically the results of our meetings with the deans and the administration, that we would delete the new standalone Children's Learning Center, that at 33 North Genesee, the renovation to the existing dean's offices into a snack bar would not occur. That would be on the first floor that was in the original plan. Renovation of the existing lab on the 3rd floor would not take place. We found that that particular lab for now is adequate for the program and supports the needs of that curriculum. We would delete the renovation of the Children's Center into the campus police which has now taken over one of the buildings along Madison Street, so that work went away. The work at 111 North Genesee, the work that would be deleted. There were a couple offices in the lower level. The relocation of the student lounge to the first floor. The relocation of the dental lab and reception. Relocation of the dean's office as it relates back to the 33 North Genesee, which stay, and deletion of the faculty resource center. Also, the work related to the connecting bridge between 33 and 111 would be also deleted. So what is the new program, or the current program, for this particular project? So the new 6-story building will remain unchanged in its original size and area, so number of floors and the area of the building. So that's 50,390 square feet. That still stays in the program. The recommended departmental reconfiguration now includes 5 additional classrooms. That became a theme throughout our conversations and discussions, that we needed more general classrooms in this overall project. And so working with each of the deans, we found areas within the plan that can be adjusted to accommodate 5 new general classrooms. All the other original program areas within the new building are largely remain in place. There's some subtle tweaks that have occurred or will occur due to just some plan thoughts. But the new 6 stories building is pretty much what's summarized here. As it relates to 33 North Genesee, there's going to be some but limited renovation of the existing Children's Learning Center. There'll be some limited renovation of the support space for that lab on the 3rd floor, but again, very minimal. On 111 North Genesee, there's some space on the 2nd floor that will also give us an additional classroom. So when we look at the number of net general classrooms being added to the program this time around, we're right now at the point of 6 new classrooms. And then, of course, there will still be modifications made to the exterior wall treatment of that 111 building. Right now, you'll know it's all pretty much an opaque wall. So just in summary of these things, what does it mean? Well, back in 2015, if you look at the 4 large program areas that were itemized there, it totaled 72,000, almost 800 square feet. Through this kind of rethinking and reprogramming of the project, we're down to 55,055 square feet, or a reduction of just under 18,000 square feet. That effort, where it was largely in the renovation component and the Children's Learning Center, brings us into a balanced budget. Again, you can see the budget is 47.9. We were in 2015 at the time the project stopped, somewhere just below that. With the adjustments that we've made to the program here, we are back to that same point. Again, the notable program changes, this now includes 5 to 6 new classrooms. Just a few images of the exterior. We understand there may be some interest in looking at this. There's been a lot of thought that went into it, but this again is where we left the project at this point in time. This is an image looking from Sheridan Road back toward the city, so looking north and west. This is an aerial looking toward the lake from Madison Street, so looking south and east. An image from the alleyway, which is basically the back, but also toward what is 33 North Genesee. And then the money shot is from Sheridan Road looking west, which really exposes the entire vocabulary of the building, and as it ties to 33 North Genesee to the west there. So that's really an update. The next steps, just to give you an idea what the next steps are going to be, basically at this point we have collectively agreed to how we want to move forward programmatically. We're here to in some way validate that with the board. We are then putting together the effort it will take to modify the drawings to bring them back up to speed where we left off, and we're off and running. So the momentum is building, the interest is building, there's a lot of excitement, and I think we've got a program now that reflects the time change with the curriculum that has been discussed, and we're on budget. Any questions?
So if it comes to pass that the board is in agreement that they'd like the exterior of this building to look a little differently, is that possible?
Yes, we are willing to certainly explore those options.
I mean, I've been on this board a long time, and I'm used to having Legat architects come before me and show me what the building's going to look like and then ask for board input. I wasn't party to much of that this time.
We've given them instructions to provide the board some options, and that they would have, couldn't do it in time for today's meeting.
I understand
But
that.
yeah, but it's clearly within the ballpark, and this is the right time to do it. This won't disrupt the schedule. The architect, I know the lead architect couldn't be here tonight, but he's more than happy to generate some additional thoughts. In fact, I know you were going to suggest a couple options for the board, possibly a workshop.
A workshop where we can get some input. I mean, we collaborate on our design solutions.
Okay.
It's your building, your vision. We're here to help facilitate that.
Right.
And so we openly embrace that sort of involvement. It'll make it the project richer and certainly assist.
Excellent, thank you.
If there are design changes, is that going to alter the expense of the building, and are we going to incur additional costs because we're tweaking design?
Well, that's part of the process. In terms of the cost of the building, we'll be managing that no different than any other design changes we make in the planning and design process. We're in the design development phase, and so that it's again part of it. In terms of our effort, there is some additional effort that will be put forth with this. That's going to be part of this upcoming modification that we'll be making to the CDP. But frankly, we're not talking, it's not going to impact the time. It'll be just part of the process.
And maybe another way of answering it too is I suspect there'll be some design changes that'll be fairly neutral, and then maybe some of the material choices might make it a little bit more costly. So I think that'll be the range of what I think you'd expect to see from our team.
And are we still looking at a LEED platinum building?
Yes.
So we have a lot to catch up on, and maybe that offline, but I just have a couple general questions. One,
Sure.
it strikes me, given the scope reduction of almost 20,000 square feet, and I get it, you've done your homework and your staff conversations, and I'm comfortable with that, but I worry a little bit. I know what it's like to have an old building and then build a new building, and given the cost reductions, are you comfortable that we're going to have health and safety issues addressed in the old building? It's going to be, cosmetically appealing. Like, how much are we going to be leaving on the table relative to having a building we're still comfortable, using every day?
Yeah, when we update you on the existing buildings, one of the things was a year ago when I first got here, Dr. Weber had said, Ken, we don't know if this project's ever going to get off. So he kind of directed us to begin some of the renovation work, not knowing if this would ever proceed. So a good part of that safety work has already been taking place. Those investments are being made. We weren't going to wait 5 more years to help the campus. So some of that's been done. So he had mentioned, like with the police station, this project called for building a new police station, but we took advantage of an existing building. We built out a police station using our own staff, and it's a good building. So there's no reason to build another one. And that's an example of some of the value engineering they brought into this, taking advantage of some of the investments we already made.
Great, now look forward to learning more during our retreat. Then my second overall question is, given that we are certainly doing a lot of cost reduction, and we should, are we going to be okay on the finished end in terms of fixtures, furnishings, those finishing touches? Are we going to?
All that is still in the budget. That's all been planned for as it was originally, yes.
Great.
Any other questions?
Would you like us to maybe address a few science building questions at this point?
Sure.
I know Scott is here. Scott mind coming up, is he? Yeah, there he is. I know, where's Scott?
Let me make a general comment on that. So the science building seems to be lingering on and on, and I know Scott was in a meeting yesterday with the CDB. We had a phone conversation with the CDB just a few weeks ago about putting more pressure on to get the building moving forward. And I understand from Bruce Locke, he couldn't be here tonight, but I talked to him today. We had a very good meeting with Path Construction yesterday. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure, yes, and I will try not to linger and linger on that. Yes, we did have a meeting, and I won't certainly get into the details. I'm happy to share details with you if you ask outside this venue, but maybe this isn't the best place to get into details of where we are. There is some work that needs to be done to finish the mechanical systems. And there are, for various reasons, it's not moving very quickly, but yesterday was a good step forward to push again on that very formally. It was CDB terms this an accountability meeting, which they have on occasions when projects are not progressing as desired. There was some very clear direction given, and we're optimistic that things will begin to accelerate, and that's about what I can say about that meeting.
I'll tell you this, we set up regular conference calls with the CDB now, every other week, to keep on the project. So there's one this Friday that we're setting up, and we're going to, actually, contacting them, making sure with those meetings, and the architects will be involved, and also want to get involved in our attorneys also, which does move faster.
Thank you.
Are we at a point where projects with the current contractor are coming to an end and there's another phase starting? Is there something the board should be looking at as far as maybe rebidding something?
Yeah, I know we put that question out to CDB. We're hoping the answer is yes, that we'll be able to, on this contract, rebid for the next phase of the work. And it's our understanding that I think the contractor wouldn't mind that as well. So
Okay.
I'm sure.
I had a conversation with
Right.
Bruce Block about that. The building is phase 1. There's buildings 2 through 5, phase 2 through 5, which are renovations. That's where the board may wish to support us and do a rebidding.
Outstanding.
You know, Rich,
Yes?
we've been through a lot of different building projects. Does this one seem to you like it's not going as well as some of the others?
Yes, very much so.
Is there something?
Well, I think with his meeting yesterday, if there's something he'd like to talk to us about, we'd be willing to listen.
It sounds like maybe we should talk about it.
I think the president alluding to the lawyers getting involved in the meetings that are being held with the CDB, the contractor, and the architects could help resolve the situation. Any other comments?